Good morning. Can't really see anything, but it's so beautiful out. It's 6:30. I'm up and ready to go to Toronto. I'm driving. We're leaving the church at 7:30. We're leaving the church at 7:30 and I have a bunch of girls in the car with us and going to the hotel, and so I'm ready to go. Coming back Saturday night. Whee! Pray that I get some sleep.
Bread. So that was, I had the last 2 slices of
She hates her tail being touched. Hates it.
she's playing with the snow.
Oh yeah. Cute.
She would love to be outside.
I know. If
she was in heaven, that'd be different.
Good evening. I'm back from Toronto. I've been back all day since last night about 2, but I didn't want to do anything this morning, which is fine. I didn't really have time to, but I wanted to show you the new look downstairs that my mother did with Melissa, I presume. It looks really cool. You can look at my other videos to see what it used to look like. I wrote a bunch of things down to share with you about my weekend, so that way I could stay on track and remember everything that I wanted to share with you, because I was not able to have my phone in recording or picture use because that was not the point of the weekend, and the youth weren't allowed them either, so it just makes sense, right? Hey, so this is all the exciting stuff I did over the weekend at Freshwind. The drive down to Toronto was phenomenal. It was very quick. We stopped at the Cambridge en route to take a break, get food, get coffee and all that stuff. And because of that break, the rest of the drive was very short, and it felt like it took us no time to get there. And then the traffic to Toronto was very minimal. It was a breeze. And it was so funny because I was following one of the other cars and people just kept cutting the car off. It made me laugh. So I'm like, why are people keep cutting him off? And then this tractor just just swooped into the next lane and freaked me out because I was like not expecting that. It was phenomenal. And I talked to him. I was like, what was with all those cars cutting you off? He's like, I don't know, but he was super easy to follow. And when we got there, we realized that we forgot ice for our cooler. So right at the beginning, I went to get ice and I searched, obviously, a convenience store with my GPS, and the drive there and back was just so interesting. The road was swervy. Not only was it swervy, it was unlevel. So I was like driving like this. It was so weird. And then it became into a construction zone, and I was like, where am I going? I feel like I'm heading to the boonies, but it was totally fine. When I got to the convenience store, there was a gentleman that came out of the store and went into his car when I went in. And I went and got the ice, and I was standing at the cash, and there was this other guy paying for his stuff, and he got really upset with the cashier because he wanted his change, but the cashier wanted to finish his transaction with the other guy, which was a refund. Oh my gosh, it was just crazy. So it was just funny watching this guy get all upset and the cashier blaming the other guy, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. It was so interesting. And then he tried to upsell me a chocolate bar, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay $1.75 for a chocolate bar. I'm like, I'm used to paying only 75 cents for my chocolate bars. And he's like, well, that's from Dollarama. And I'm like, absolutely. That's where I get my chocolate bars from. So that was fun. And then the drive back was very interesting again. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cool. And I was joking around with my co-pilot on how the only reason I would get Google Glasses is to take pictures while I'm driving. As you might know from my Instagram account, I'm an amateur photographer and I love taking pictures of nature and the sky, and I just love all those things. So most of the way there I'm like, oh, I wish I could take a picture of this. Oh, I wish I could take a picture of that. But it was phenomenal. And so because of that, we were setting an example of not having our phones, because that was not the reason for going to the conference, and the youth couldn't have their phones and take pictures and stuff like that. So we only had our phones as leaders to connect with one another. And so I didn't take any videos, and I did take one photo, which I'll show you at the end, with permission from our youth pastor, because the coffee was just too beautiful to not take a picture of. And in the first session, the guy was giving away free books, which I was so excited to get. And the free book is called Follow Me by Steve Orsillo. And this is it. I was so excited to get it. I can't wait to read it. I really liked what he spoke about. And then, let me switch to my other notes. There we go. So the rest of the conference, really good. I enjoyed everything about it, and the worship was amazing. And then we get to the hotel. We were so excited to get to the hotel. We were so tired, so finished for the day. We get there. I'm the first one to take a shower. The youth allowed me to be the first one to take a shower, which was awesome. And while I was getting dressed after the shower, oh my goodness, I could hear our boys were up above us in the hotel, and I could hear them laughing in the vent in the bathroom while I was taking a shower, and I was the only one that got to hear them, which I thought was pretty funny. And then as I was looking through the drawers, I took one of the magazines to use for my Wreck-It journal. I have not yet been able to get to it. Both Melissa and Ty have done quite a bit of pages already, but I'll get to it now that I have a little more free time. And so I grabbed that for my Wreck-It journal, which I thought was really cool to look at. And at night, okay, so all the girls came into our hotel room. We had conjoining rooms, half and half. And they all came into our room. They wanted to play games, and I was so spent. I was so tired, and I was just sitting on the floor with my face against the mattress, praying, oh God, please, I want to go to bed soon. Please, please, please. And then about 20 minutes later, our youth pastor said, okay, I'm ready for bed. I'm going. And then the girls in that room just followed, which was awesome. And I had a really good sleep. That bed was so comfortable. I wanted to take everything about that bed home. Not a lie. And then the phone went off. The guys were phoning us most of the night until when we went to bed. They didn't phone anymore. But at 5 a.m. we got a call, and my co-pilot who was driving down with me, she was also sharing a room with me. She answered it, and no one answered, and we all went to sleep except for her. Poor thing, she was up every half an hour after that. And we find out when we went and had our continental breakfast that it was the guys who set up that call, and it was one of the other leaders because he was a little upset and he wanted to get revenge on what was going on in his room. So it was kind of funny. My co-pilot was not pleased at all, which I understand. I hate being woken up and not having a good sleep, but it's Freshwind, and that's what happens. You don't sleep. You're expected not to sleep. And we got out, had a good breakfast. We our youth pastor and one of the other leaders went and saved us seats. So we had really good seats on the second day. We had good seats on the first day too, but more room on the second day, which was really nice because then we had the juniors coming. So we would have needed the room. And the hotel was a blast. The boys were so fun during the morning trying to get ready. They were so overtired. I think they maybe had 2 hours of sleep, that they were laughing at everything. It was just hilarious. I loved it. And then I bought a new Bible. I've been wanting one for my purse for a while because I have a study Bible that's thick and heavy that I really don't want in my purse, which is understandable. So I found this one. I had the option to buy this one or a purple one with a heart or a purple one with a flower, and I was drawn to this one more, and especially one of the messages talked about owls, so I was like, I'm supposed to get an owl. And that's the box for it. This is what it actually looks like. It is beautiful and shiny and glittery. I just adore it. This is actually my first time opening it, so it's still crisp and brand new. And yeah. Okay, so at lunch, we had the option of where we wanted to go. A car was going to Booster Joe's, and Booster Juice. Why? I even have it written down. Anyways, Booster Juice. And so we get into the car that has GPS, set the GPS, brings us to this weird remote area, totally residential, has no businesses, was hilarious. So then we tried the driver's phone, which was a BlackBerry, brought us around the block. It didn't even bring us anywhere near one. So I pulled out my phone and it got us there. Needless to say, after all of that, we were 30 minutes late for the afternoon session, which was totally fine. And it was really good too. I enjoyed it so much. At supper, the same thing happened. We were meeting the juniors at Pizza Hut and we got lost yet again. My phone came to the rescue and we got there about 45 minutes late, but we still got there. And we met up with the juniors. We had wings with 2 different kinds, barbecue and honey garlic, and there was 3 different kinds of pizza. There was meat lovers, cheese, and pepperoni and cheese. It was so much fun to see everybody and to head back to the church with a huge group. The juniors, some of our juniors were new going to the conference, and it was so fun seeing their faces and experiencing it the first time, feeling like I did when I went the first time years and years and years ago with the first youth group that I went with. It was so much fun. And then after, we had fire tunnels. I don't know if you know what fire tunnels are, but it's where people stand in front of each other and make a line and you go through and they pray for you. So tradition at Freshwind to have fire tunnels at night, the last session. So we were having so much fun dancing and going through all those, and it was just amazing. I love fire tunnels. They're my favorite. They're addicting. Love it. If you haven't had a chance to have a fire tunnel and you're a Christian, you're missing out. I don't know how to help you with that other than to suggest coming to Freshwind next year. Anyway, on the drive home, they announced that there was snow on the ground, and I was like, oh, but it was fine. It didn't snow a lot. It was kind of a little foggy, but not really. But the amazing part of the drive home was the full moon that was shining down with hardly any clouds in the sky. It was beautiful. And I would look over to my left while I was driving, and I would see some of the scenery, and it was like sceneries that you would see in pictures and books and whatever, of the sun shining down on houses and mountains and yards. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. I again was wishing I could take a billion pictures with Google Glasses or something, but just seeing that was amazing. I just enjoyed it. It was serenity to me. I loved it.